on the YouTubes. Welcome to Fave 5. We got two special guests. We got from Con Artist Entertainment, Martin Dunn, and Rob, I forgot your last name, but I think it's Sackett? Sackett?
Sackett. You were pretty close.
Alright, well, you know, I was close. But, dude, my name is Dave Kocotos, but I always shorten it, because no one can say it. And I hate those people that get offended. Like, you ever just go someone and you see, like, the name, like my name. You're like, Dave Kocotos, and then, like, the person's like, how dare you? It's Kocotos.
I like how, like, your last name kind of reminds me of, like, a bad Scooby-Doo episode. Like Shaggy would love your name. Coco.
Exactly. Well, welcome. This is Fave 5 with Con Artist Entertainment. We will be starting a podcast called K5 this Sunday, and hopefully you'll join us. And also, Martin Dunn is going to be drawing my comic book, or at least, I don't know, what's the right word? Be in charge of everything? Because I'm just going to hand you the script. And
I'm the editor-in-chief. I'm going to find someone to draw your comic book. I'm not going to draw your comic book.
You're like, fuck that shit. And then, of course, we have the newest, most expensive editor ever, Rob, who will be my co-host this Sunday.
I'll be editing this video for $97 a word.
He's also, don't forget, he's also the program director for the AE Network.
Exactly. Way to go, Martin. You should. I feel a lot better being in broadcasting after hearing that.
Man.
It's late. I'm mad at YouTube. The whole YouTube thing. Dude, it's so weird because, like, everything that makes me money in life is so not stressful. Everything that doesn't make me money in life, YouTube, is like the most stressful thing ever. They're like, you can't use thumbnails. Fuck fair use. Wah! So
would you say that you're going to give them $3 worth of your opinion?
I should, motherfuckers. Inside jokes to start. All right. So this is going to be Fave 5, our Fave 5 pro wrestlers of when we were kids. Because, you know, we weren't such cynical assholes when we were kids, and there was probably different wrestlers for different people. And I am the old man of the group. I don't know how old Martin Dunn is. I imagine he's 97 by his photo. But Rob over here is, you know, just got out of the military, 12 years old, did 3 tours in Vietnam. I appreciate that. And so we got a big age difference. So when Rob says his favorite is Santino,
he appreciates you fighting for his country that he doesn't live in.
Yes, we thank you.
America fights for Japan too.
They just fight for everyone. They fight. Yeah. They fight for GE. They fight for Shell Oil. They fight for BP.
Where do we have a factory? That's where we fought for.
Exactly. Now, I am former Marine. A lot of people say, oh, you're never once Marine, always Marine. I just don't believe that shit. I used to run 18 miles a day and could shoot fucking anything from any far away. That's scientifically factual. And now I talk on YouTube and fucking write comic books. So, no, I don't believe in once Marine, always Marine. But me and him, both infantry members. Him, Army. I don't hold that against him. And Martin Dunn is part of the Internet Infantry, which is what we call our army here, our army, Internet Infantry. It's just a bunch of angry people that want the best pro wrestling possible. But we're going to try to put down our anger. I remember when we were kids, and we loved this, and we're going to talk about our favorite pro wrestlers when we were kids. So, it was hard. There was one guy that I had to knock out that a lot of people are going to shock, but I'll have to give him an honorable mention later.
Was it Andre the Giant? Because I imagine he was pretty young when you were a kid.
No, but Andre the Giant was the first time. When Andre the Giant beat Hulk Hogan, when Andre the Giant lost to Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3, that's the first time I ever figured out wrestling was predetermined. I was so angry. I thought it was such bullshit. I hated Hulk Hogan, and my fucking uncle ripped me off. Because, like, my uncle's like, no, it's fake. I'm like, no, wrestling's not fake. And the thing is, I grew up in an Atlantic City area where people gamble and, you know, throw fights. I was like, no, boxing. Boxing, I could see someone taking a fall. I can't see Andre the Giant taking a fall. And they're like, no, you idiot, they all take a fall. I'm like, this is bullshit. And then he bet money, and I won. And then, like, when Hulk Hogan went for the leg drop, it hit me. I was like, that fucking uncle stole my money and he's fucking wrestling isn't real. I was so pissed, dude. So Andre the Giant is one of my favorite memories, but he didn't make my fave 5. All right, so let's break it down.
Of course
fave
not.
5,
He cost you money.
yeah, it did cost me money, and he didn't even give me the money back. Even though my aunt was like, give the fucking dumbass his money back. He's like, no, he has to learn a valuable lesson. I learned a valuable lesson. Andre the Giant fucking took a fall, and my uncle's a scumbag.
This guy.
All right. So we'll go left to right. I'll go last. All right. As far as Dunn, then Rob, then me. All right. So
Are we going?
number 5.
Are we going?
We're
Are we
gonna go
going
5,
first to
4, 3, 2,
last
1.
or last to first?
We said first to the end.
Why
It's
would-
like the main event.
Why would you start with number 1?
Because it's exciting.
Yeah, but then what's the excitement for the rest of them? All right, we already talked about the best ones. Here are the other guys.
Well, because
They
you
were
know,
good
like I'm
enough.
trying to. I thought we were approaching this like indie wrestling is booked.
No, we're gonna go. Okay. I didn't know. Here's the worst part, Rob. This is the first time you've ever been on a Fave 5. This is Martin's second Fave 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, what we're gonna do is, Martin, you're gonna go first with your number 5. Then Rob's gonna go with his number 5. Then I'm gonna say my number 5. Then we're
What
gonna
about my you know, honorable mentions?
We'll save honorable mention. You want to do honorable mentions? All right, let's do honorable mentions. My honorable mention is I loved him, and it was Sting. I loved Sting when he was the surfer, beach blonde. As soon as he turned to the Crow, you know, a lot of people turned on
What?
Sting later. As soon as he turned to the Crow, I was like, fuck this shit. I saw the Crow. I want my fucking Stinger back.
If I knew how to hang up Google Plus, I would be gone.
So Sting as a beach bum is my honorable mention. Sting as the Crow, fuck him.
Well,
Fuck
that's
him.
because you weren't still a child when he was the Crow.
That's probably true, but I love the Stinger splash and Clash of the Champions 1. I don't know how great Clash of the Champions 1 really was. I'll have to go get the WWE Network. But Clash of the Champions 1, in my mind as a kid, was the greatest event ever. I remember I watched it like maybe a couple...
There was like 100 people there.
That it was the greatest event ever when I was a kid. I was like, I got to see Sting versus Flair for free. So yeah, Sting gets my honorable mention. Martin, who's your honorable mention?
I have a bunch of honorable mentions, Dave.
Oh, Jesus, here we go.
You can only
Go.
have one.
Yeah, narrow it down to your best honorable mention, like the guy who just got edged out.
I'm
Like
gonna give you.
fucking-
I'm gonna give you 3.
Oh Jesus! All right, we'll go 3.
Okay, Mr. Perfect,
All right,
The Ultimate Warrior,
all right.
and ECW.
Just the whole fucking company.
Isn't ECW like a whole thing?
Yes.
I'll give ECW its props. See, I wasn't a kid when ECW came out. I was a cool, tough guy teenager.
I was a teenager too, and but you know, like I still, like that's ECW is why I wanted to be a wrestler in a lot of ways. So like, I had to move this around a little bit. So at this point, ECW.
All right, so those are your honorable mentions. Rob, do you have any honorable mentions?
Cactus Jack.
Yeah, that's good. I might have to change my list around.
Dude, he was
All right.
awesome. Like, I was upset watching Extreme Rules because I was like, I messaged Martin while I'm watching it, and I'm like, where are the thumbtacks and everything? What's happened? And he's like, PG era. And I'm like, I want Cactus Jack. I was
Yeah.
very upset at the lack of blood.
Do you know that that's how Dean Ambrose broke into the Fed, right? Like he started a fight with Cactus Jack about all that shit.
Really?
Like
awesome.
he like, it was really funny. Like if you can find the video, like I'm convinced it was supposed to be like a shoot, like a shoot that turned into a work that that Mick Foley took personally. Like this fucking snot-nosed kid, the fuck's he think he is? Because like it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I thought NXT. I thought that was supposed to be. It was supposed to have a payoff in NXT, but I don't think it ever happened.
I think Mick Foley took it personally. Like he told him like he ruined people's lives and shit.
I'm gonna do one more honorable mention just because on our show he is God, and when I was a kid, when people asked me who my father was, I would lie and say him. And I wasn't even trying to get into FCW.
Like the clown?
Terry Funk. We treat Terry Funk as God here. He is the pro wrestling God, and I don't know. I didn't put him in my Fave 5, but when people ask me, they're like, "Hey, poor orphan street rat from New Jersey, who's your dad?" And I'm like, Terry Funk. He's on the road a lot. I don't get to see him.
I feel like you forgot about Terry Funk until I said,
Hey,
I think you might be right. But you know what? I didn't put him in my Fave 5 because A, he's my god, and second, he was my dad. You can't put family in the Fave
Dave,
5.
do you know that I won the Savannah heavyweight championship from Terry Funk?
Are you making up stories, or is this
I
true?
swear to
If
God,
this
no,
is
hold
true,
on.
you're 100 times cooler than you were 10 minutes ago.
Listen. All right. So when I used to actually work shows before I got hurt and stopped wrestling, I used to wrestle in a hood as a Japanese wrestler, which is funny, named Azrael Valley, which is not a fucking Japanese name. I don't know why every promoter insisted that I be Japanese. And I used to team with Rise, which I miss dearly. I miss them a lot. Anyway, I used to team with Rise, and I used to team with Seijun Aki, and I used to team with Jason Hex and a couple other guys. Kid Lethal used to work under a hood, and he used to team with me sometimes. So anyway, I ended up at this show, and Terry Funk was their champion, but it was their first show, so you already know how this goes. And the guy who was supposed to work was Axel Rotten. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Axel Rotten no-showed, and I guess Terry Funk didn't want to do the show anymore, and so they put me in the match at the last second, and we get out there, and Terry Funk is we're talking before the match, and he's like, "What's your finish, kid?" And I'm like, "I do this, scoop slam driver." He's like, "Your finish is a DDT," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do a DDT too," and he goes, "Well, no, I'm telling you that's your finish, DDT on a chair." And I go, "But you're the champion. You're going over." He's like, "No, the fuck I'm not. I'm going to collect my paycheck. You're going to pin me, and I'm leaving." And I shit you not, he carried his bag to the fucking ring.
I'm so happy my God is such a great person, and my dad is such a great person.
Dude,
That is my God.
No, I walk in the locker room, and Terry Funk is fucking gone.
You didn't
And
even
the
get the
promoter's
thing.
mad as fuck, and he goes, "What the fuck happened?" And I was like, "He just told me to do it." And he goes, "That's not what's supposed to happen. It's on the fucking board." I'm like, "You don't tell Terry Funk no." Dude, we're talking 3 minutes.
Terry Funk.
I beat Terry Funk in 3 minutes. He punched me a bunch of times, missed a moonsault. I picked him up, DDT'd him on a chair, and then pinned him. He rolls out of the ring, grabs his bag, and leaves the building. There were no guardrails. He just fucking leaves.
Are you saying that you beat Terry Funk out of the industry?
No. But he retired right after that.
You're like, all right, let's go. Let's go our Fave 5. Martin, you're first. Who's your number 5?
The Outsiders.
The Outsiders. All right.
I thought we were picking individual people.
Well,
I don't know. I picked a tag team.
I broke up so many stables.
Well,
No,
dude,
see, stables are different. We're talking tag teams. I didn't say the NWO. I said the Outsiders.
It's basically the same.
No, Dave, tell him it's not the same.
All right. Let's focus on why the Outsiders were your favorite.
Dude, it was how could they not be at that time frame? They rocked the fucking 90s, man. You got to think Diesel and Razor Ramon show up on fucking WCW, powerbomb Eric Bischoff through a fucking table, destroy everything we ever loved about wrestling. Made me change the channel from WWF because I wanted to know what was happening. It made me a WCW fan.
I grew up a WCW fan, so when they came in, I was like, this is awesome. But I to be honest with you, I'm only a WWE fan because they survived. I was like, I like the NWA, I like WCW, I like ECW, I like, and then my favorite right now is New Japan, but I'm afraid eventually WWE is going to buy out everybody. And then you're like, I've been in pro wrestling forever. Oh, you love WWF?
Yeah, see, for me, I was always a WWF fan, but I always liked to watch WCW because I always felt like I was breaking rules, because they always did shit was a little bit more edgier than WWF at the time. And then, I didn't know about ECW yet, but the one thing that stands out to me about WCW in that era was, do you remember the Halloween Havoc match where like they had like the electric chair in the ring?
Yeah.
And like Cactus Jack got electrocuted? That motherfucker died in that match. I was convinced.
When you were a kid?
Yeah,
He's
but
dead.
anyway, no, like whenever Nash and Hall showed up, I just remember thinking that this was real. Like, what the hell is Diesel and Razor Ramon doing on WCW? Vince McMahon actually sent them there to tear up things, and remember that was the angle that like they were there to like cause problems for the WWF, like WCW by WWF, like be bullies and shit. And like, if you remember, they came in and just started beating up everybody.
Yeah, it was an awesome angle, and back then they didn't have the internet; they had dirt sheets, but it was great because it did what pro wrestling is supposed to do.
And you remember,
it made you confused what was real and what wasn't.
Well, and if you remember, the week after their debut, when they both showed up, Raw was running live, and Rick Rude was on Raw, and then he showed up on WCW at the same exact time to manage the Outsiders.
Yeah, so it's very, very interesting times. All right, you're number 5, Rob.
Hulk Hogan.
What the fuck is this shit? You're fucking 12 years old. Do you even fucking see Hulk Hogan?
Dude, yeah. No, all right. So, first, like, I remember when I was really little, liking Hulk Hogan a little bit on WWE before I really got into wrestling. And then I loved him in movies. And then I started watching WCW because it was at, like, a friend's house, and that was what he'd watch. And then NWO started happening, and then Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. And after that, I just loved Hulk Hogan.
I hated Hulk Hogan. He fucking beat Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. And I lived in the Northeast, and they didn't have the internet or dirt sheets. And I fucking hated Hulk Hogan. But everyone's like, everyone loves Hulk Hogan. I thought I was the only person in the world. And then when the internet came, I was like, what? I'm not the only person who hates Hulk Hogan?
I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fan either.
I know. I wish we knew each
Something
other as
wrong with
kids.
both of you.
Nope. I was another person. When you hear who my favorite is, you'll know why.
We might have the same favorite. All right, so Hulk Hogan. You don't even have to go into detail. We know. Fucking eat your vitamins, say your prayers.
No, I hated that part of him. I was like, I'm not saying prayers. I'm not eating vitamins. Screw you, Hulk.
He liked Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which is even worse.
No, I loved Hulk Hogan the actor before I liked Hulk Hogan the wrestler, and then I loved Hollywood Hogan.
He liked Hollywood Hogan, like when he was washed up and was just paying to beat people. Let's have Ultimate Warrior come back so I can beat him. Okay.
Hey, what's up? Sorry about that.
Good job, man. You had one job.
I had one job. My kid was banging on the door. I'm like, oh, let me go grab the door real quick. I'm sure he could talk about Hogan for another 7 minutes. And I come back and it's dead silent.
Oh, it was not dead silent. Like, Martin paused to breathe. Do you know how rare that is?
All right, let's get back on track since I failed doing my one job. My number 5 is a tag team, and by our number 5s, we're definitely in different age brackets. But I was an NWA, WCW super fan, and these guys were fucking invincible. The Road Warriors.
I fucking love the Road Warriors.
Oh, the Road Warriors were great.
Those
were the dudes that wore the football pads with spikes, right?
Yeah. I cried my eyes out when Hawk died, dude. He was such a nice fucking guy.
Yeah, and if you live in the Tampa area, you got to meet so many of these WWE stars, but...
Before they died.
Yeah, Tampa is filled with legends. It's crazy. But, yeah, the Road Warriors were just amazing. They were fucking, like... I don't know, like... They were the coolest, toughest fucking cats in the world. Like, you just saw them, you're like, dude, those guys are going to whoop some fucking ass. And, yeah, they weren't the best wrestlers in the world, but they were definitely the best ass whoopers in the world. And
you were always scared of, like, when Animal would get in the ring, you were like, this guy's fucked. Like, that was the thing. Like, Hawk would go in there and wrestle a little bit, but you would always know, like, when Animal got tagged in for the hot tag, these guys are fucked. Like, Animal's about to rip a head off. Like,
so Animal was like Roman Reigns.
For the record, just so people know, if they do check out our podcast this Sunday, Rob is the biggest Shield fan I've ever met in my life. I'm gonna count how many times you just throw in random Shield references. You're like Hulk Hogan, so that's like...
No lie, while watching Extreme Rules, I almost thought that Ambrose was going to turn on them because of, like, just us knowing wrestling expectation.
I would have been so sad. Like,
I literally thought in my head, like, dude, I hope he doesn't turn on them because Rob's going to go into a fit of depression, that of, like, a man whose wife just left him.
Like, I would have quit watching right there. I would have been like, I'm fucking done.
You're done.
I'm done.
You're like, the Shield breaks up. We're about to do our first show on your network, and you're like, you know what? This is our last show, and you just have a moment of silence, and you're like, I'm out.
He does a
Like,
10-bell salute.
No, I wouldn't have even. You guys wouldn't have been involved. It would have just been 2 hours of me playing the Shield theme.
Best podcast ever. All right, let's go to our number 4s. Number 4, Martin.
Okay, so once again, high school era for me still. This guy really, like, at the time, like, I was still training to be a wrestler. It kind of personified what I tried to do when I was about 16, and I really kind of, it helped me get, like, he helped me get to that point that I wanted to be, like, find a character that worked. And I know you'll laugh at me about it, Dave, because you'll know where I went with it, but I was trying so hard to be, like, the big baby face at these, like, little indie shows I was getting to work at the time that, like, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing, and I sucked at it. And then I saw Steve Corino. And I realized that it was okay to be a weaselly, like, pussy heel.
I love Steve Corino.
Because at the time,
Steve Corino.
and think about it, at that time frame, Stone Cold and Triple H and The Rock, and it was so cool to be an anti-hero, badass villain. Like, so, like, you didn't really have very many, like, pussies, like guys who would run from a fight.
Yeah.
And so, like, Corino helped me embrace that psychology that it was okay. And what sold me on Corino is I used to fucking hate him. And then, whenever he got pissed off Taz, and he cut that promo, and I haven't memorized this day because it was so funny, and he had the ECW World Title match, and he comes out and he cuts the promo about how he had pulled his appendix and, like, tore his ovarian tube while trying to lift 500 pounds on the bench press. And, like, so he found the replacement, and he brought out Chris Candido. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And the crowd started, whenever the crowd first started ever, the Taz is going to kill you chant.
Yeah.
It was so, like, it was just it was not just that, but it was like, he was this, like, pioneer and, like, fuck hardcore, you guys are all stupid, I'm the king of old school, but then he'd get his ass kicked by all the hardcore wrestlers. And it just, everything about the character personified and built up through his career until he finally won the ECW title and became a babyface, like, it was just a nice, like, stepping stone. It was almost like Chris Jericho, who got edged out by Steve Corino.
Yeah, which one? I have a man crush on Steve Corino, and I love everything he's done, but know what I'm realizing about this? We have a live comment, and we're here listening to you. I'm old as fuck. You guys are like, I like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, dude, I was 37 when he.
I haven't got to that part of my list yet.
All right, let's hear. We got a live comment, even though we didn't advertise this, so we want to thanks Internet Infantry member Hook It Shoot. Live comment. Woohoo! Mine were Mankind, Stone Cold, Vampiro, The Big Show, and The Undertaker. That's who we liked as children. So, man,
someone like Vampiro.
He's about to hate me.
All right, so who's your number 4?
My number 4 is the reason that whenever everyone else was upset that the streak for Undertaker ended, I was like, whatever, that was 21 wins. That's nothing. I wasn't at all impressed by the Undertaker streak because I loved Goldberg as a kid. And Goldberg streaked shit all over the Undertaker.
Can we hang up on him?
You know what? I hate to say this because Goldberg is against everything, but I was in the Marine Corps. Oh my God, I'm so old. I was in the Marine Corps when Goldberg was at his peak in ECW and Event Night Wars. And I just remember all of us were wrestling fans, and, like, everyone would talk about how great of a wrestler Goldberg was. And we'd go around spearing each other. But, like, not in a wrestling match. Just, like, in the hallway. We'd hide, like, in closets. And, like, I just remember, like, we're so immature. And this wasn't when I was a kid. This was when I was a fucking full-grown man machine gunner.
You were a Marine. That's basically a grown child.
Yeah. We used to hide in closets, And then we loved the NWO, but we loved the Four Horsemen, so we used NWO tactics, and we said we were the Horsemen, and then we would fucking call, like, other people Goldberg, and we had started this feud. There wasn't being matches, but it would just be jumping each other, and I just remember, like, the guy who was playing Goldberg now is, like, a famous writer, but he didn't, like, enjoy it. Like, he was like, no, we're taking the joke too far. But not us. We would hide in a closet, tackle him, duct tape him, and then we'd take off his shirt and spray 4H on him and be like, Four Horsemen for life, because I don't know why we didn't know we were NWO or Four Horsemen, but I just remember because, like, we bought a pack of wrestling figures, and we were the Four Horsemen, but the Four Horsemen didn't come together, so it was, like, the weirdest one. We had the smallest guy, which wasn't me, ironically, the total package. I was Nature Boy. Someone was Dogface Gremlin, and I forget what the other. Oh, someone was Stinger, and we were like, "We're the Four Horsemen." And fucking, we used to do Mike, because when you go out on patrols, you can use code names, because we all grew up watching G.I. Joe. Like I like how, like, if I could say, "Hey Rob, there's a bad guy 2 clicks away," they're like, "Oh, we know Rob." So we'd fucking come. It's so stupid, but we'd come up with stupid fucking nicknames, and dude, we'd do like storylines on it, and our officers would get so pissed off. I'm like, Dogface Gremlin, this is the Nature Boy. How many clicks away are you? And they're like, shut the fuck up. And like, oh, we're going to get you, Goldberg. And they're like, be professional.
So, really funny, because I was in high school when Goldberg was at his peak, and we used to do the same fucking thing of, like, spearing each other. And, no fucking lie, one day, like, we were all hanging out over at Kid Lethal's house, because we all grew up together. And you remember Robbie Markson by any chance, Coco?
It sounds familiar, but I probably can't pick him out in the lineup, but go on.
Anyway, Robbie Markson, me, Kid Lethal, a few other, Ethan Wolf, a few other guys that, Florida wrestler guys that, I grew up with, actually, that ended up getting in the industry. Epic. We're all fucking hanging out at Kid Lethal's house, right? And,
right.
Kid Lethal comes out of, like, this, the bathroom, and, like, his grandfather, because he lived with his grandparents. And, like, he comes out of his grandpa's, like, spare bathroom, and, like, they have, like, this couch, like, futon type thing, but it always stayed flat. And I came out of nowhere to fucking, like, give him, like, we didn't call it a spear, though. We did the Gorgs. We were ACW marks, but still. Dude, I fucking hit him, and he fell up and smacked his head on the wall, and we knocked him the fuck out. I knocked him out cold. So then, like, we panic, and Robbie and me, like, pick him up and try to carry him into his room so his grandma doesn't know we just killed him. And Robbie fucking smacks his head against everything on the way from, like, one side of the house to the other. Like, it was like a comedy movie.
No,
Number 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 2. You can say what you want about Goldberg's streak, but he beat Barry Horowitz, like, 76 times. Like, Jerry Flynn, like, 22 times. Like, Scott Norton, like, 17 times.
I'm gonna go with it wasn't very accurate, because, like, it would be like
whoa.
No, because hold on.
Undertaker only beat 21 people.
All I'm saying is Goldberg's count was like this. It would be like Thursday Night Thunder. We're at 109-0, right? And then there would be like 2 house shows, and then on Nitro he's like 210-0. Like, there was always like this jump. Like, did he wrestle 100 guys over the weekend? I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone should do better accounting there. What do you have
Goldberg
to say?
was a sloppy. Hold on. Goldberg was a sloppy, dangerous fucking idiot. Like,
you're a sloppy, dangerous idiot.
Dude, he's the reason Bret Hart had to retire from wrestling.
Well, maybe he should take a spear better.
That wasn't what he did. He super kicked him in the fucking head like a dumbass.
Well, I've heard Bret Hart talk, and he's kind of an asshole. He might have deserved the super kick to the head.
I can't believe we're going here. All right, let's focus.
Hold on, wait, real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Goldberg did get his ass kicked by Chris Jericho backstage.
Yeah,
that's a
and
shame.
you know what? That was fake.
No, that was real.
No, that was fake.
Coco, tell him the truth. Tell him.
It was fake.
If you want to believe it's fake, you can.
Goldberg was pulling punches.
All right,
Dude,
but
no.
Size of him. Then look at Chris Jericho.
Dude, Chris Jericho choked him out backstage. Choked him out.
No.
Well, two things before we go.
No. Hold on. Let's explain that scenario really. You say Chris Jericho choked out Goldberg. I say Goldberg took a nap, and then Chris Jericho came over and cuddled with him and hugged him around the neck while he was asleep.
That's not the story that everyone in the world knows.
Well, that's what happened.
Here, I'll give you another one.
Breaking
It's very
news.
funny. Joey Styles knocked out JBL one time.
I don't think he knocked him out, but he punched him a good one.
I already knocked him, like, toe-cocked him pretty good. Like, JBL was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. All right. Let's focus on Goldberg here. First, two things. One, how pissed off were you? How pissed off were you when Goldberg came to the WWE and how he was booked? You're a Goldberg fan. You see him
I
as the
hated
Vince.
Goldberg in the WWE.
Yeah. Did it break your little Goldberg heart?
It was horrible. I was like, why isn't he crushing everyone? This is stupid. Wrestling is fake. I'm done.
So Goldberg in WWE was your Andre the Giant moment. You're like, why is Goldberg taking the ball?
Basically, like, I was so upset.
All right, and the second thing is, you being a former military guy, the one thing that military guys know is how to choke someone out from behind. You know, the rear naked choke? That's like something they've been teaching military guys forever. We would always, speaking of, Chris Jericho choking out Goldberg, allegedly, when we would choke each other out.
Allegedly.
When we choked each other out, we would drag our passed out bodies to, like, a couch or, like, like somewhere where you could make it look like it's on the top rope, and we drop Macho Man elbows. So most of the time, if you're at a dojo, if someone chokes you out, they try to revive you and all that. We're like, dude, we can do Macho Man elbows. So we were assholes.
They at least prop you up so that, you're okay.
No, we were not the healthiest of idiots.
Marines.
All right, calm down, Army Dog. Well, here's my number 4. All right, the next two, I'm just going to give you a pre-warning. I grew up, no, it's not Goldberg. I was like 36 when Goldberg appeared. My next one is, I grew up in New Jersey. My next two grew up in New Jersey. And, like, these two guys, I'll save it, but I'll say the same thing, but I'll just focus on number 4. Number 4, he was a bad guy to the rest of the world, but not where we come from. There was rumors he was a math teacher. There was, like, he was our hero, and everyone would boo him, and they would be like, you're the worst. And we're like, hell yeah, New Jersey pride. And that was King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy was a hero. He could walk on water in Atlantic City. We were just like, hell yeah. I think we were the only kids, even in the biggest Hulkamania maniacs, would be like, you know what? I am going to root for King Kong Bundy. I remember because we were watching King Kong Bundy versus King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan, and King Kong Bundy could win the title, and a bunch of fucking adults turned the television off, and us kids were like, do you think he won? Do you think he won the title? And we flipped out. King Kong Bundy never beat Hulk Hogan. It was a sad.
I gotta Google who King Kong Bundy is.
You're like, hold on, Grandpa. King Kong Bundy. He wasn't the best wrestler, but as a kid, he was a New Jersey.
He looks nothing like King Kong.
He looks like a giant penis and a big black broken condom.
He looks like if the blue-eyed giant got unleashed on a buffet.
And nothing says New Jersey like a giant penis in a fucking garbage bag. He was our hero, you sons of bitches. King Kong Bundy is my number 4.
Was he your hero because you knew he could spend as much time as he wanted at a buffet and no one would say anything?
Well, we did grow up in Atlantic City, the home of buffets, so yeah. That did have a factor in it. We were eating buffets while you were eating your vitamins.
You know what? If they do a King Kong Bundy life story movie, they need to get the dude from fucking Breaking Bad to play him, the one that played his brother.
No, because King Kong Bundy's an actor. And
he's too old to play young him.
King Kong Bundy doesn't age. Look at him. But King Kong Bundy, though, before he was fat, or bigger, I don't want to say fat to a New Jersey legend, but before he was bigger, he used to look like Eric Cooper. Like, if you go watch and...
Hold on, I gotta look up
Eric Cooper is. But if you watch, like, old AWA stuff, King Kong Bundy looked like Eric Cooper. So I'm
Dave, you know the first thing I just thought of when you said Coop? You mentioned Coop?
Who?
Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Have you ever had, like, a phone conversation with Coop?
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? He was like on every indie show ever, and then like he just deleted his Facebook one day and like went away.
I don't blame him. The Florida scene sucks balls right now.
Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have an internet infantry mission. If anyone could find Eric Cooper, just walk up to him, hug him, and be like, Dave, no, I don't want to make this too gay. Say Kocosport still loves you. And then just walk away. Don't say anything else. Just walk up to him, hug him, and whisper, Kocosport says they still
Oh my God.
and walk away.
Rob, tell him what I did today on the voicemail.
This is awesome.
What'd you do today in the voicemail?
You have to tell Dave what I did on the voicemail, the Coco Sports thing.
I don't remember. You talk so much that I tune out parts of it.
So
My brain can't retain everything you say.
Dave, Rob just dropped something today. Hey, you have to call this guy. And I'm like, what the fuck am I...
Yeah, and you didn't call him, he said.
Yeah, that's the word on the street. The word on the street.
Yeah, you called the wrong number, I think.
He's like, I'm like, what do you want me to say? And he's like, I don't know. And he gave me the, so I called and no one answered.
Yeah.
And so I left a voicemail where I just breathed heavy and was like, Coco Sports.
I thought you were kidding. I didn't know you actually did that.
Coco Sports.
Meanwhile, he's like, oh, I see I'm not going to this network.
These guys are weird.
All right, King Kong Bundy's awesome. Let's go to number 3s. Martin, who's your number 3?
Raven.
Raven? Jesus Christ, I'm old. I was 76 when Raven first came.
I want to make you feel good, my 1 and 2, I promise.
All right. Give a little detail. Why did Raven tickle your bubbles?
Raven, he changed the game for me. I stopped watching wrestling when I discovered vagina, and so
what? That's bullshit.
Oh,
True
dude,
story.
it was that guy. That guy was emo.
I stopped watching wrestling whenever I discovered vagina, and then I started watching wrestling again when I was about 14, and I came across Raven. It was right when he debuted, and he was feuding with Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, and the flock started showing up. It was fucking captivating in the same way that Bray Wyatt captivates me now, like just like the whole cult leader kind of thing, and you know, like that whole mentality, and like the promos were fucking like dark and broody, but also at the same time intelligent and like way over the heads of wrestling fans. They were like, this fucking guy talks too much and he says big words, fuck him. And I used to love it. I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. But then I saw a Ravens Rules match, and believe it or not, that was the first time I think I ever saw a real hardcore match, like a legitimate hardcore match, not like, you know, what we had seen before, like a no DQ match. They'd hit each other with chairs and shit, but like we're talking like tables and fucking like Japanese stuff that I hadn't seen yet, you know. And it just like it was a lot of it, like the psychology and the storytelling and the wrestling and the fucking promos. It's like the whole package. And he literally became one of my all-time favorites to the point that he literally like slowly like built up that point. However, funny like footnote to that, never meet your heroes because you can't disappoint a photo.
Yeah, I can say that about my number 3 too, but I absolutely love him. All right, so Raven was cool. I just wasn't a kid, and the cool thing about that was they were doing storylines that were not heard of back then. Like ECW just made wrestling so cool. I don't know about you, but I think if ECW didn't happen, I would have stopped being a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Like, I think ECW came at the right time for me to keep watching, because if ECW wasn't around, then I just had to watch WCW and WWE. I think I would have been like, all right, I'm done. So
dude,
ECW was amazing.
If it wasn't for ECW and giving the WWF and WCW so much to steal, we'd still have like Doink the Clown chasing around midgets.
Oh god, that'd be horrible.
Well, they got 2 midgets.
They did have 2 midgets. Maybe they're going back that way. You're number 3. You're up to plate.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He was 76. I was 76 when he first came out. No. Stone Cold Steve Austin is absolutely amazing. So go on.
Actually,
My memory
love
is not
Stone Cold.
fantastic.
I love Stone Cold, but I really, really loved him when he was the Hollywood Blondes.
I don't know. I've always liked Stone Cold, from ECW, Hollywood Blondes to Stone Cold today.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, like, I've always loved him, but I thought him and Brian Pillman was a fucking excellent tag team, and those guys were so ahead of their time when it came to like the comedy of it, like being a team that didn't take shit too seriously.
So would
but
you
were,
say
like, badass.
would you say you're like a Stone Cold hipster?
Do what?
I don't think you could be a hipster, because a hipster means you're young. I think we're just old fucks. That's the difference. Like, a hipster's like, oh, I like Atari. Where, in my case, I'm like, no, I fucking played Atari because that was the only fucking thing out. So
Atari wasn't that great, no.
Dude, at the time, it was amazing. I just remember Pac-Man, Space Invaders. Dude, Space Invaders? Fucking...
I hated the Ghostbusters game.
The Ghostbusters game for Nintendo, or Ghostbusters for Atari?
There was a Ghostbusters game for Atari.
No
or was
way.
Or was it for the Jaguar?
I don't know. I
It
know
was
they
for
had
one of the
for
really old ones, and
Sega
it enraged me.
System. Yeah. They had some really bad games.
I
But
had,
now,
I had an Atari 2600 with wrestling. Do you remember the wrestling game?
no, I remember the boxing. I don't remember the wrestling.
The wrestling was so bad. It was like these two pixels, and they just bumped into each other a lot. I think they called it Pong. No,
Good stuff.
legitimately, I remember having an Atari, but once again, with my age, I'm 31, just so you know. I remember the Nintendo more, and I remember the greatest thing in the world was making my father literally call me like a fuckhead, and he told me a cheater, and he never wanted to play video games with me again because I had the wrestling game on Nintendo, and I would like get him
With
in the
Starman?
corner. Do what?
With Starman and Amazon?
Yeah. And I'd get him in the corner and just keep doing the same move over and over again. And my dad would like be like a kid is now and like rage quit.
Dude, I had a storyline for all those guys. That's how I fucking knew. I didn't even know what a storyline was, but I'd always have like a backstory. Like, Starman was really just a fucking arrogant prick, and he wanted to be a star so bad, but no one really liked him. And he was my favorite character. Like, you know how Christian wanted to be the big star, but fucking no one really liked him at that one point? It was like that. So he'd go and be like, anyone
Are
want
you
my
talking
autographs?
about like his career, or that's kind of mean?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about one portion of his storyline. At one time he was that, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you just meant in general, because like that's kind of what his career's been.
And Amazon was a Scooby-Doo reject. He was only there to ruin pro wrestling, and he was really another wrestling promoter. Because remember, you started off in the VWA and then went to the VWF? Well, he was one of them, and he just dressed up as a monster so that he could destroy the other federation and take him out at Scooby-Doo.
I always thought he was like some sort of like Blanca ripoff.
He was out before Blanca, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was.
Like
All right, hold on. We went down old people memory lane here. Say some great stuff about Stone Cold that's never been said before. Go, Rob. Why do you love
I
him?
don't think I can say anything about Stone Cold that hasn't been said before, as he was a childhood hero.
Yeah, he was a
But I mean,
hero.
like, seriously, how could you not love Stone Cold? Like, he was just badass, he didn't give a fuck. He would just fucking kick you in your dick, or your stomach, depending
All right.
on your viewpoint, and then fucking drop you, and then drink beer and pour it on you, and talk shit in your face.
I'm gonna make Dave's night right now. I'm gonna tell him a story about a
Don't you
wrestler.
ruin fucking Stone Cold.
Here we go.
No, you already ruined Goldberg. Don't fucking ruin Stone Cold.
No, I'm not gonna ruin Stone Cold. This is something way different. So, most of the guys I know that like came up with me in wrestling and stuff were guys I went to high school with or middle school with or whatever. I met Kid Lethal in 9th grade. I was in 10th grade. He was in 9th grade. It was his 9th grade year, his freshman year. And Dave, when I met him, he dressed like Stone Cold in the sense that he would wear the combat boots with cutoff shorts and like Austin 316 shirts, shaved his head bald, and would talk to us like Stone Cold talks.
That is fucking amazing. You know what, dude? I wish I did more cool shit in high school. I just wore fucking hand-me-down shirts from my cousins, and it was sports team stuff. And I was like, oh, please, rich kids, don't make fun of me. But I kind of wish I, like, took advantage of it more. Like, I never went to high school dressed as Spider-Man. I really did not take advantage of Stone Cold.
Dude, he literally would walk around the school and talk like Stone Cold, like, to the teachers, to everyone around. Like, I can't do the voice, but just imagine the Stone Cold voice all the fucking time.
But the teachers didn't do anything? Like, no one slapped him around with it?
They thought he was just fucking autistic or something. Like, he was
Poor
just,
guy.
Maybe he was. Does he like Sonic?
dude, he would say things like, and that's all I gotta say about that. And it's like, you look like a retarded, like an idiot. And he would just try to stun people, Dave. Like, he'd get into arguments with people and try to stun them.
Man, my high school life sounds so boring. You guys had Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We did.
Right.
Except that he was a midget, because that kid's like 5 foot tall.
That only makes it better. All right, my number 3, because we're on number 3, right? Yours was Stone Cold. My number 3 was a badass, and it came from Asbury Park, New Jersey. We saw him as the hero, and it's Bam Bam Bigelow. And we just grew up rooting for Bam Bam Bigelow. He was one of our favorites.
Amazing. He could do a fucking cartwheel, and he was a monster.
Dude, wasn't Bam Bam Bigelow also actually really in a real biker gang?
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow lived an exciting life. But before Bam Bam Bigelow passed away, I was the last promoter he works for, and it was weird. See, like, you're like, wow, you were my favorite wrestler as a kid. Can you sober up enough to wave to the crowd and go in? You know, it was kind of sad a little bit, but it was a really cool cat. Bam Bam Bigelow was a prick to almost everybody, but I was one of the 3 people he was cool to, so I was kind of happy about that. But yeah, I wish I said more to be like, hey, dude, maybe you should stop drinking. But I was under the whole Army/Marine Corps/military way of thinking. Like, well, he deserves to be a full-blown alcoholic. He did something, which is a horrible way of thinking, but I kind of wish I said something. But yeah, I got to not work with, because work with means wrestle, but I got to work with as far as behind the scenes with Bam Bam Bigelow, and he was a great guy. So,
did you ever wrestle with anyone behind the scenes?
Behind I've choked out a few wrestlers, and I've threatened wrestlers to punch me, but that's about it. Yeah, nothing much. Nothing like, not like, hey, oh no, I did put on. It's horrible, but you know, because I broke my back and neck in the Marine Corps, so you can imagine this is the worst match ever. But I practiced. My kids wanted to see me wrestle, and it was an empty arena. It was just my son Max and my daughter Tycho. Leo wasn't born yet, and I was like, "All right, Josh, this is all I can do." And I'm like, "I got a broken back," and then I booked it where I went. Except Josh never kicked out, and I was like, so my son was like, "Wow, he just beat Josh," and Josh looks like a legit wrestler, and I look like fucking
Josh Masters?
Yeah. Josh Masters, so we did this wrestling match. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do it for my son, you know, and he's like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, then you're going to get up and you're going to pin me, you know? But he never did, and he made me win. And then I'm like, now my son's delusional. I look like a fucking out-of-shape Kevin Smith, and I just beat a fucking guy who looks like a real pro wrestler. And my son's like, you're the toughest guy in the world. I'm like, thanks, Josh.
And that's when your son learned that wrestling wasn't real.
Exactly.
You were his Andre moment.
I was. But yeah, it was cool that he did it, but I was like, and the funny thing is, there was still, it was so cool that he did it, but there was still the Booker part of me. I'm like, motherfucker, that's not what we went over.
So since Dave's telling ACW stories, I have to ask this question, just to fuck with him. How many times have you seen Ralph Mosca's dick?
How many times haven't I, dude? It's just crazy. I'm going to tell you something about ACW. When I read it, it stood for American Combat Wrestling. But behind the scenes, it might have been American Cock Wrestling. Like, dude, it got so much that, like, people would do the practical joke of, hey, look at my cock. Like, it didn't even faze you anymore. Like, they're like, Dave, come here, I got to ask you a question. And they're like, their cock's out. I'm like, yeah, what do you want? Like, you looked at my cock. I'm like, well, you know, you could cover it up, you know? And, like, yeah. But Ralph was the worst, dude. I'll tell one Ralph Mosca story. He was my business partner / wrestler. He's crazy. I'm actually going to write a tell-all about Ralph Mosca. It's not going to sell, but I got to do it because there's so many crazy stories.
I think the best way to do it would be the words on every page have to form an ASCII symbol of a penis.
maybe that is the way to do it. But this is our last meal together. It's before I go to Japan. We're eating our last meal, and he's a real emotional guy. A lot of people don't know that about him. Like, you're just like, all right, dude, we met. He's like, we're never going to see each other again. I'm like, all right, Ralph, we're never going to see each other, Like, this is awkward. And fucking, we're in Olive Garden, which, if you don't know, is like kind of a family Italian restaurant. And this old lady keeps looking at him. And he's like, I'm going to whip out my dick and show her. And he whips out his dick and starts masturbating in the restaurant. And the lady keeps checking it out. And the lady's with her family. And I'm just like, is this fucking happening? No one notices this except people at our table, our waitress who decided not to come back to our table. And I fucking wanted more breadsticks. And the old lady, and I won't say old, she was like in her 40s, 50s, but her daughter was like 19, 20, and I'm just like, is he fucking masturbating in an Olive Garden to a fucking old lady's entertainment? I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna miss this guy.
Did he take her home?
No, he just put his wiener away and said, oh, we're leaving. Because I think James was with us, and James was pissed, because he's like, our fucking waitress ain't coming back for breadsticks. And, like, it was so dude, and, like, I was on his side. I'm just so angry, because you whip out your dick and start masturbating, the waitress stops bringing breadsticks, and that made us more angry than him actually masturbating.
My favorite Ralph Mosca story for me was the first time me and Mosca ever met in real life. Was at an ASW show. Like, this is after you'd left, and this was like after James got fired from his own show somehow. Like, I showed up to the Stroker's place, which is a funny name of a restaurant after you think about it.
I like that's where you first met him.
Yeah, so no, hold on. So me and Ralph had been going back and forth on like Florida Indies website for like a couple months. Just like, and even before that, during like the Eclipse days, we'd share words. So like we see each other. And he sees me, he's like, oh, hey, I'm Ralph Mosca. And I'm like, oh, I'm Martin Marvel. And he goes, you're a lot bigger than I thought you'd be. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I don't think I want to punch you in the face anymore. And it was just so funny. Like, we became friends. Like, it was just like, because he thought, I guess, like, he'd said, and it was actually, like, slightly insulting, but at the same time kind of funny. He thought I was Kid Lethal. That's who he mistook me for. This entire time, he thought he was talking to like a 5'4" midget.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's good times. Well, maybe I'll have to get Ralph on. But I got to write a book just because that's just a piece of the pie, dude. He's got some crazy stories. All right, we're up to number 2. We're rocking and roll.
I'm still amazed that as a Marine you could count to 5.
All right, so now Dave's not going to feel as old. My number 2, this is really hard for me to kind of separate these two guys and put them in a 1 and 2 spot. But number 2 is the master of psychology, Jake Roberts.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Jake Roberts was freaking awesome.
Jake the Snake Roberts was the first wrestling bad guy that made me legitimately like think he was evil as a kid. Like, he did things to people that I was like, that's not okay. He made that snake bite Macho Man in the face on his wedding day. And, I mean, dude, like, those feuds he had were ridiculous. Do you remember whenever he had, I think it was like a cobra, and he put the bag up with the cobra in it over Ultimate Warrior's head, and then, like, Papa Shango and him had, like, a tag team for a little while, and, like, they were doing all these fucked up things to the Ultimate Warrior. Like, dude, Jake Roberts was evil, dude.
Dude, like, that's my oldest memory of watching wrestling was, I don't even remember. I was really little, and I remember watching it on the TV, Ultimate Warrior getting sick after, I don't know how to say his name, Papa
Shango?
Yeah. After he, like, did some, like, voodoo thing on his armband, and, yeah, like, him vomiting. And, like, that's my most vivid childhood memory of wrestling.
Yeah, that was a really, like, very strong emotional thing for kids to watch the Ultimate Warrior vomit everywhere and die on screen.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
All right, so who's your number 2, Rob?
Triple H.
Oh my God, dude! Didn't he just have his rookie season like last week? Ain't he an NXT guy? Did he just come up from NXT? I'm so old.
Listen, when I was a kid, I loved Triple H because like I was starting to get bored with WCW after like NWO became fucking 90 people, and I was starting to get bored, so I started watching WWE, and then like later on like DX and all that, like I loved D-Generation X, and then fucking like I was gonna say Triple H and HBK, D-Generation X is my top two as my number two, but I felt like it was cheating to say it's stable. But dude, Triple H was great. And then like after that, he becomes like the best fucking heel ever.
I don't disagree with
Still
that.
The best heel.
I love Triple H after like right after that whole thing with when he turned on DX and like kind of fucked them all over.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved that.
Dude, it was great. And, like, you hated him, like, right away. And he was, like, amazing. He was the best fucking heel.
I like Triple H, and it's funny because I like Triple H. I loved him, you know, in Generation DX. I loved him as a heel. I even loved him when the internet turned on him. The only thing I don't like about Triple H is weird because it's something I like in other people. So it's kind of like, I don't know, a bit hypocritical. The thing I don't like about Triple H is he fucking puts his friends over and he gives his friends spots that they don't deserve. But with that said, as a person, I'm like, oh, I respect that quality. You know what I mean?
Well, I like the fact that if you notice, he's been putting a lot of young guys over lately.
Yeah. So I like, well, that's, in my honest opinion, that's his job.
But let's all remember the greatest thing he did for us. He showed us Stephanie's boobs when he went to Pettigrew.
Dude, I love Stephanie McMahon's boobs. They're so milky and soft. But yeah, yeah, that was one of my favorite times ever. As a kid.
How could you not be on your top five after that?
All right, my number two, and then I'm gonna read. We got another comment, even though we didn't advertise this. Was internet imagery still coming through? We got a comment from Mike Ashman, so we'll do that next. But my number two. And I don't know, maybe this is the reason I live in Japan. Maybe, dude, WCW, NWA, probably my favorite wrestler of all time. But as a kid, he maybe under this one guy, he's my number two, the Great Muta. I just remember fucking seeing the Great Muta, watching him do shit that no one else did, and going, oh my God, Japan has to be the greatest country in the world. When I get married, I'm going to marry a Japanese girl and live there forever. No, that part isn't true, but still. I just remember watching him, and...
Why did I feel like Japan was off limits?
Well, because, no, when I was a kid, I didn't know about him in Japan. I'm talking about his WCW days. I'm old. The Great Muta, to me, like, I just remember it was such a big deal, because they didn't have internet, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have illegal content, they didn't have assholes at YouTube fucking saying, you know what? That thumbnail in fair use doesn't exist, because I'm a fucking cocksucker. They didn't have that. All you had was television. And they're like, here's the best Japanese wrestler of all time. They're like, Japanese people. Get it? And like, nudging my friend.
No, because, dude...
wrestling. And I'm just like, this guy is fucking amazing. I love you. It was like Sting.
Kenta Kobashi. I mean, I could go all day with Japanese wrestlers. We got to do a top 5 Japanese one day.
All right, yeah, definitely. So, Great Muta is my number two. All right, let's read Ashman's stuff here. Mike Ashman says, ECW saved pro wrestling. You got to love the WCW fanatics also. Fave 5, no particular order. Bret Hart, Vampiro / Raven tie, Great Muta / Rey Mysterio tie, Rock, Jeff Hardy. That childhood story reminded me. All right, so those are
I feel like
his...
he cheated.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ties. I didn't know we could...
Yeah, that's a lot of ties. If I had known about ties, like, my number one would be a tie already, because I'm torn on two people. And one of them's not going to be in it.
All right, so...
before we go to your number one, Martin, I'm going to go... Me and Martin, I have a prediction. I think me and Martin have the same number one. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling. Deep in my soul that we have the same number one.
I feel like the only way is you have to message me what your number one is.
All right, hold on. I
see
have
if your
to put.
prediction's
I'm
right.
putting it on Facebook. All
All
right. Here you go. I sent it to you on Facebook, so you know my number one.
Okay, I
can't
know
put it
you're
in the
number
group
one.
chat 'cause
I
Martin-
think it's wrong. I think
All right.
Martin's number one's going to be different.
All right, let's bet at something stupid.
Okay. I bet that if I'm right and Martin's is different from yours, you have to do a Facebook status saying the thing that I tell you about my favorite wrestler.
Oh, great. I don't know. That's a big risk. I got a good reputation on Facebook. I don't want to.
Hey, you got to do this.
How about this? All right. Well, no. It's too risky. Too risky. I'm a puss. No. How about this? We'll have to send each other a candy bar from our home countries. So you have to send me Reese's peanut butter cups through the mail, which will be horrible when they get here, but I'll still eat them. And I will send you Pocky, which is like a Japanese candy. You want to bet a candy bar? Send it through the mail, cheapest way possible, so that it's green and rotten by the time it gets here.
Let me.
And you have to eat on a YouTube video.
I don't know about that.
Let me think, because I don't know how this is gonna go over. Deal.
All right. If you motherfuckers are chatting on Facebook behind the scenes, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna call shenanigans, and I'm gonna fucking wipe my butt on your Pokey before I send it.
Nope.
No, I'll even message you who.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You might be right, Rob. All right, maybe our number ones are different.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I had someone who I edged out for this, so it was very difficult. So I was gonna say Ric Flair.
That's what I said, motherfucker.
Oh
I gotta send this motherfucker Pokey, motherfucker. Ric Flair doesn't even make your top 5, you fucking cocksucker.
Hold on, but I didn't know we could do ties. So my tie really is Ric Flair.
No ties. No, you don't get a tie. I win.
Hold on, Ric Flair.
Send me your address.
And this is hold on. Ric Flair is legendary in the sense that like how can he not be someone's top? So to
Not
me,
only that, but did you guys see him on Raw when he seemed like he was a little senile and just walked away saying "woo" repeatedly?
That's what he does. He once elbow dropped himself. Hold on. He once elbow dropped himself into a heart attack.
All right. Let's focus. Who is your number one?
My number one is Macho Man.
Okay. I thank God you didn't say Undertaker.
See, no. I thought it was going to be Undertaker because he's always fucking blowing on Undertaker's dick.
See,
Bray Wyatt's the new Undertaker.
No, shut up. So this is the thing.
That was a reenactment.
Ric Flair to me is a given. Like I don't feel like it's a fair number one because Ric Flair is like above a number one in everything. Like there's a few guys that kind of sit in that spot, so you can't say like, oh well, Ric Flair is my number one in my opinion because it's like, well, duh. See, for me, Macho Man, because he was the anti-Hulk Hogan to me. And, like, everything he did made me, like, I just, like, as a kid, I remember watching, like, the elbow drop and, like, the energy and, like, everything about him, I just fucking loved it. Like,
I have a question that might upset you as a Macho Man fan, but as a kid, I was always legitimately curious. For the longest time, I thought that Village People song, Macho Man, was written about Macho Man, and I thought maybe it used to be his old entrance song before I started watching wrestling or something. Why didn't he ever enter that?
No.
Probably rights. And plus, Macho Man came out to friggin' graduation. Dude, he graduated every time he went to the ring. Go ahead, Martin. Macho Man is great. Why?
Well, anyway, all you got to do really with Macho Man. And by the way, Dave, we've done this already. You should have known I was going to say Macho Man.
Shut up.
So, you could have won this by lying, you know? I mean, anyway, Macho Man versus Steamboat is all I got to say. Like, I mean, what else do you say?
I do love Macho Man, but he's not my fave 5. My number one, since I already gave it out, is Ric Flair. Everyone was a Hulkamaniac. Everyone was a WWF fan around me, and I was like, no, Ric Flair is the fucking man. I remember I got a lot. I made a lot of money when I was very young, and I didn't know anything about fashion. And they're like, well, you have to buy suits if you're gonna, pretend, if you want to make money. I'm like, no, can't I just wear sweatpants? They're like, no, stupid young kid, you gotta fucking play the part. And they're like, do you want Hugo Boss? I was like, no. And they're like, you want Armani? And I was like, yes. And I bought nothing but Armani. On the only reason why is because that's what Ric Flair wore. No other reason why I wore Armani except Ric Flair. So people were like, you can buy any suit you want. And I was like, I don't know who Hugo Boss is. I don't know who half these guys are. Who's DKNY? Fuck that guy. I'm DKNJ. And I was like, I'll wear Armani. They're like, why do you want to wear Armani? And dude, it was so funny because like I bought them in Hawaii, and I went there and I was like, hey, I want to buy Armani suits. And he's like, really? We're the best in the world. I'm like, I know. That's what Ric Flair says. And he just looked at me like I was retarded. And I was like, I fucking hate you, Armani. But yeah, so Ric Flair was my favorite. The Four Horsemen, just his feud with Dusty Rhodes. Man, good times, good times. So Ric Flair is my number one. All right, and I do love the Macho Man. I can respect the Macho Man being number one over Undertaker. If it was Undertaker, I would have. Oh God, I would have lost it. I couldn't have handled it. I would have an emotional breakdown, and Rob would have to message you and report me.
I'm really excited to tell you my number one, though.
Oh, holy shit, it's Undertaker, ain't it?
No.
I
went on a rant about how I think his streak's overhyped before hyping up Goldberg. And you think Undertaker's on my list?
My old man heart wasn't ready for that. It just wasn't ready. All right, who's your number one?
All right, I'm going to hype this up. I haven't hyped anyone up, but this one, though, I'm ready, because this is the number one. Multiple-time world champion. Legendary in all wrestling circles. A true fucking veteran to this business. He's a king of style, and probably has, like, the most badass finishing move in wrestling history. This dude fucking personifies classic wrestling. AJ fucking Styles. Like, dude, he just fucking beat Okada and fucking won the IWGP Heavyweight title. That's how relevant he still fucking is.
All right, first off, I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but the Okada thing was too soon. You just can't come on my fucking podcast and drop on Okada beat Okada. All right?
Martin told me all of that. I quoted Martin.
All right, first off, you don't come to my fucking house and disrespect Okada. That's not the fucking way this goes down. AJ Styles is amazing, I assure you. But you come here after a fucking week. We barely know each other, and you fucking drop he beat Okada on my show. How fucking dare you? All right, who's your number one?
My real number one is Sting, because I fucking loved Sting, and I liked Crow Sting.
Oh, fuck you and Crow Sting.
Like, I liked the original Sting too. He was cool. But like, dude, it was awesome when the lights would go out and he'd be in the ring and everyone would be knocked out. Like, it was badass.
Martin's dying to say something.
Hold on. I want to point out the fact you just coldly jumped into the Sting thing without letting Coco calm down. Like, I can tell, like, you can feel the heat from Japan right now. Like, there's another fucking earthquake happening. Because you said, I told you, like, his response was going to be amazing. Like, he said, don't you fucking dare bring up Okada.
Okada is the greatest goddamn pro wrestler today. And the fact that he lost against AJ Styles on AJ Styles' first fucking title defense with fucking shenanigans, dude. The IWGP title fucking deserves so much more. This is New Japan. This is not TNA. You just don't fucking get a star from somewhere else and give him the fucking title. Unbelievable. Anyway, Sting. Go ahead.
Like, how could you not love Sting, though? Seriously.
I did when he was the thing. I don't know. I think I got to the age of I love pro wrestling, but if you change something, I don't like it. Like, I just didn't. I was like, dude, he's a fucking the Crow. Like, I don't know. It just turned me off so much. And on top of him being a Crow, you got to remember, Sting didn't wrestle that much. He was up in the rafters for like 90 years at a time.
I know, it was awesome.
It's horrible. Fuck.
He was kind of in the rafters a lot.
You just see the rope come down and then he'd come down. Like, dude, remember when he fucking rappelled out of the helicopter? What was that? Was that at, what was that pay-per-view? Bash at the Beach? Or whatever the fuck it was called?
Gotcha. Well, maybe that's why. You know, I never liked rappelling out of helicopters. Oh, man. But yeah,
Too soon?
I was more angry about the Okada statement. But yeah, Martin, are you gonna be okay? You dying over there?
Yeah. Pneumonia.
For those wondering, this late into a podcast, that's how I got hurt. I got hurt rappelling from a helicopter. But you know, it's cool. It's cool. But you know what? I'm okay with that joke. The Okada joke cut me deep.
Dude, he really did rappel out of a helicopter. It really was awesome.
Yeah. Hold on. Hello?
Oh, konnichiwa? Oh, this is Kocosport.
Yes.
Oh, is this Okada?
Okay. Give me 5 seconds.
Yes, Okada, I did just defend you. I told them AJ Styles did not deserve your title. So much a dishonor. You're about to
Okay,
get better.
I just got word from the New Japan offices. Me and Okada are coming to Florida to kill Rob. The plan is in. The plan is in.
Bring it on. You are old Marine. I am young.
So look out. If you see Okada just show up and with his wrestling gear on, you know.
I will. I'm just calling AJ Styles right now. Beat him once, he can beat him again.
You fuck. You cut me deep. You cut me deep. No, but on a serious note, dude, ROH and New Japan pay-per-views, everyone must buy that. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to be off the hook. So, all right, so there's our Fave 5 with a little ball busted from Rob. I appreciate it. If you want to hear more ball busting...
Technically, that was from Martin.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I'm fighting with Michael Cole. You're like, it wasn't me. It was Vince. It was Vince.
No, I was a conduit. He told me what to do. I was merely a puppet.
Yeah, just like Cole. But anyway, we will be doing a show. You guys know the details more. I joined up with Con Artist Entertainment to rule the world. We're going to do K5 wrestling, and we are going to make a comic book. The press release comes out tomorrow, but I'll break it here since, you know, we're far enough into the podcast that, you know, the loyal listeners are the only ones left. We're going to start a comic book character named Drone, and she'll be making her appearance where, Martin? What? I was kind of hoping that you would be there. Like, I was like, I'm going to set him up. I'm going to hot tag Martin, and Martin's going to plug the comic books, and then I'm going to hot tag Rob, and he's going to plug... You know what? I mean,
seriously, Martin, you dropped the ball here.
What happened?
Oh, my God.
I was talking about Drone and what comic... I was like, and Drone is going to come out... I'm
not okay with, like, look, I'll be honest with you, like, I think that it's pretty messed up that Obama keeps droning those kids.
Well, yeah. Great point. I appreciate it. What is the comic?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get a lot easier. Let's settle down. Let's throw bigger softballs to Martin. Martin, you have a comic book company.
I do.
What is the name of your comic book company?
CAE Studios.
And what is the website?
CAEstudios.com.
Are you sure that's the website? That it's not comicconartist.com?
No, there is no comicconartist.com. There is conartistentertainment.com, CAEstudios.com, CAEnetwork.com, and comicconartist.net, which we try to get rid of.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're going to throw another softball. And you have a new writer, Dave Kocotos, who's writing The Drone. And the Drone is going to appear...
Dave Coco is coming in to write this awesome new series that's a spin-off of a book called Project Overwatch about a character named Drone. And it's
where can they buy?
It's a sad, action-packed, dramatic comedy that'll make you laugh and cry.
And where can they find these comic books?
Nowhere. They're not done. They're not even out yet.
The series that is done. I'm trying. Dude, have you ever sold a comic book a day in your life?
Shockingly, he has.
I do it all the time. What are you talking about?
Well, like, you know, after you compliment the writer, they're like, that's cool, and then you can be like, well, if you want to see my work and the series that it's going to lead to...
I just told them. CAEstudios.com. Project Overwatch is actually still in development.
Well, get on that shit. I can't. My comic book character can't appear if you're still in development.
Actually, you know what, though? I'm going to get you the link, Dave, so that you can actually... I'll get it to you later. So you can put it into the description for this video to grab the free digital download of the Comic Book Day thing that we just did. which has a little bit of a preview of Overwatch in it.
Yeah, it's got the first 8 pages. I mean, all seriousness, I'll stop being stupid. Overwatch will be out here real soon, and the next, probably about the next month, issue 1 will be done. It's pretty awesome. It's definitely not like a kid's comic, but it's a political superhero drama about an alternate reality like Earth, like almost like an alternate timeline. And it's pretty awesome. We've had a lot of good reviews back from some of the stuff people have seen. The art's by Javier Lugo, Rob Torres is the inks and the colors, and it's probably one of our biggest, I guess you could say, most anticipated titles. And then Drone will be spun out of the first arc, so my goal is to have her at the very least introduced at the end of this first arc. So I think like issue 4. So there you go.
Webcomic.
Sweet.
Oh, and then we have a webcomic. If you go to castudios.com, click on webcomics, and it'll take you to see a weekly webcomic we have out. Right now we're previewing, I believe, Ordinary, and after that, I don't know what's up after that, but there is a queue that keeps going and going and going.
So what I learned is when it comes to pitching, I should have went with Rob first. I threw the hot tag. I was going for the hot tag. I tagged Ambrose when I should have tagged, you
should have went for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I should have went for Roman Reigns. All right, Martin, thank you. Thank you. Now, let's try this again. I'm going to go for the hot tag to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, we're starting a radio show. What's that all about? A little podcast. Go on, sir.
Well, Martin had this horrible idea, but we're going to make it work. Basically, Martin saw that I was getting back into actually watching wrestling because, I tuned into WrestleMania, and that's when I started watching again. I haven't watched in, 10 years. And I started watching again, and Martin's like, oh, dude, I'm going to get Coco, and you two are going to do a podcast together. And I'm like, dude, Martin, I don't really know anything about wrestling anymore. I'm pretty fucking stupid. And Martin's like, no, it's going to be perfect because, see, he knows everything and you know nothing. It's going to work great. And then he went along on his plan with me going, I don't know, I'm not ready. And now that's where we are with K5 Radio. And that's going to actually be starting up Sunday. I believe we settled on 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time at Con Artist Entertainment Network over on Blog Talk Radio.
So hopefully, we'll do it at a decent time, so Internet Infantry members won't be sleeping, and hopefully the Internet Infantry joins us. We'll also have a call-in number, so it'd be great to hear your voices instead of just reading your comments. So appreciate it.
Dave will post all that info over at Kocosports. You can like us on Facebook at Con Artist Entertainment. Took me a second. I derped. But yeah, you can like us over there. Once we get K5 Radio rolling, I'm going to drop a Facebook page, and then you guys will be able to like us there, and we'll just update it whenever we're going up, whether we're going on Blog Talk for the weekly show, or maybe Dave wants to do a Fave 5 type thing, or just a random thing during the week, and we might do that randomly unadvertised.
Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Martin, are you dying? Are you dying? Are you allergic to advertising your companies? You're like, can't breathe advertising my company.
No, it's so they gave me a new medicine for the pneumonia.
Yeah.
And I don't think that my lungs like it very much.
Gotcha.
It's Midol.
Hopefully you feel better. All right, so we're going to wrap this up with the usual. Check out Kocosports.com and Kocosports.net. It takes you to the same place. It's where the world comes to kick ass. Your home for combat sports, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. And if you want to be part of the Internet Infantry, the Internet Infantry is a bunch of passionate wrestling fans that are angry as hell and want to give their opinions and passionate, then you could show it by supporting us and buying an Internet Infantry shirt, which is right on the homepage, Kocosports.com. You buy a shirt, we do Stump the Idiots, which is our Q&A. And you buy the shirt, we'll do a special Q&A just for you. I'm behind on one Q&A, so hopefully I'll do that within the next 24 to 48 hours. And, the way I am tickling the balls of the Google Dragon, we might have to sell more shirts.
Oh, you're ridiculous. Speaking of dragons, though, did you see when AJ Styles beat Okada?
Why do you hurt me so much? I have feelings, okay? I'm not the man I used to be. I'm sensitive.
I've been messed
All
up.
right, so more podcast fun this Sunday night. I can't wait to do it, and hopefully it's a huge success. If
We're going to talk about Extreme Rules.
All right, yeah, breakdown we're going to talk about. Look, now he's ready. He's like, let's advertise.
All it took was 27 minutes.
I'm hoping I don't have a coughing fit again. I'm sorry, okay? I really am.
All right, go ahead.
We'll talk about Extreme Rules. We'll talk about how the Shield was dismantled, taken apart.
Temporarily taking a break. And it took 6 people.
On Raw. We'll talk about See No Evil Part 2. I'm pretty sure we'll talk about SmackDown, right?
That means we have to watch it.
I don't watch SmackDown, but I want to point out something really quick that we will talk about this Sunday, but just like a teaser.
All right, go ahead.
A quick opinion from everybody. I think I know what Vince is doing to kind of squeeze past the cable networks so he can have live viewing on the network and actually have people watch it. The bigger name stars are starting to show up on Main Event.
Oh, nice.
Because,
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
They actually did part of the Bray Wyatt Cena feud was actually a part of the Main Event that aired live tonight.
Yeah.
Really?
Fucking, I wish that feud was over. Just go away,
I
John
thank
Cena.
you. I'm glad someone agrees with me. I want John Cena to just fucking die.
I don't
not
want him to die.
Not literally die. Not
I
literally
just want him to
die.
go away. Like, if he's successful at something else, I'll be
his
happy.
career.
Got the whole world in his
Oh, hey, it's like Bray Wyatt's here. It's tone deaf too.
All right, let's save our A material for the podcast.
But no, really quick, so we give everybody a taste.
All right.
Quick one, just a real short opinion. Do you think that that's what Vince is doing? He's going to move. He's going to make Main Event a viable show that's important to watch.
I would hope he's smart enough, but I don't feel like he is. I think he's approaching Alzheimer's.
I hope he is, because I love the WWE Network. I don't have it. I love it, just the idea. I love that you can get everything for $10. I love everything about it. I've been begging for this product forever. I want to get it. I tried to get it through, like, magic loopholes. Someone was like, pay me $17 a year, and you can get access to an American computer, and then you can get the network. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll do that. $17 later, he's like, I fooled you. I'm a billionaire. I'm like, man, there goes one T-shirt's profit. Actually, that's like 3 T-shirt profit. But anyway.
Oh, wait, I'll refer you and set your account up if you want.
Yeah, but in Japan, you need to do the computer hop thing, because they don't have it in Japan yet.
Hold on. Question. You have wireless internet, right?
I have crazy good internet, but what was the question?
Buy an American iPad. Have, like, someone buy an American iPad for you, mail it over to you, and fucking watch network through your iPad on the internet.
Are you sure that will work? They're kind of smarter than that. And that's
I don't think that'll work.
Yeah, that's like a $500 trick that can backfire.
I really
when I have an iPad,
I don't
it doesn't
think that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work at all.
Why would it work?
Because it's still connecting to the Japanese internet. It doesn't have a magical connection to American internet.
Why doesn't the Japanese people like the WWE?
Well,
probably because AJ Styles beat Okada. They're pissed.
You mentioned AJ Styles beat Okada one more time, and I'm going home. No, because they got to deal with J Sports, and J Sports has them locked down pretty good. So they have to wait till they renegotiate J Sports before they can bring the network here. But they're going to overcharge the Japanese people, because Japanese people pay. They're like, what? I can watch Wreck-It Ralph for $10 in a movie theater on DVD, or I can spend $70 and watch it 2 years later in a theater? Why, yes, that's a wonderul deal. So it'll probably be overpriced in Japan, and it probably won't get redo the J Sports.
Well, I wanted to comment on something you just said to Rob. He can't say anything about AJ Styles beating that guy, but can he say anything about Okada losing to AJ Styles?
You fucking jerks. Whatever, dude. Okada can beat Goldberg.
Nah, I doubt it.
Now we're getting like 5-year-old debates.
It'd be one fucking spear and he's gone.
Whatever. You can't even. Your guy can't even survive.
He'd get kicked in the head and his career's over. You want to get Bret Harted?
Okada's the greatest wrestler ever. Period. End of story. I wish I was a kid now.
Yeah.
But I'd put him as number 1. But I'm old man.
Yeah,
Okada.
take him
Period.
too.
What's
Sting
that?
has a fucking metal baseball bat. He could take him.
I hate you.
He'd come down on a rope in the dark, hit him with a bat. He wouldn't know what happened.
All right. We're done our Fave Fives. We're done our promotions. Do you want to call it a night? Last statement of the night. Martin, you can use this time to say anything.
Like the move?
Whatever. All right, well, that was your anything. Way to go, Martin.
Well, I was just saying, like, you said say anything. The first thing I thought of was, like you know, John Cusack with a fucking boombox.
No, it's like Jim Rome, final word. But you're really jacking this up. No wonder why Jim Rome doesn't go live anymore. All right, go ahead. What's your last statement of the podcast?
It's been an honor, Dave. It's been an honor.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you, Dave. You're a great guy. The best.
Is he breaking up with me?
And we're honored to have Kocosport be a part of. Why am I reading this, Rob?
He's so honored that he's walking away across the room.
Yeah. All right. If we ever do a Fave 5 with the Con Artist Entertainment Group people, we're definitely putting Martin in the middle. Because we're like, all right, let's start this bad boy with Martin. Martin's like, what? What's going on? All right, Rob. It's your turn. What's your final statement of the night?
Anything I want.
10
I'd like to congratulate AJ Styles on his amazing performance. Well done, sir.
You cut me deep. All right, check out our podcast, check out our sites, and we'll be getting the press releases up tomorrow night. And YouTube, come on, be cool, pal. What the fuck is going on? Really?
YouTube,
Do we need to hug this shit out? Do we need to hug this shit out, YouTube?
YouTube, we fought so that you would have the freedom to not give him that money.
Holy shit, should I pull that card?
Yeah, let's do it right now. We just did.
All right, we're pulling that card. 2 former infantrymen, Army Marines, former veterans. Really? You're going to fucking pull this shit over thumbnails and trolls? We served this country. We served this country of Google. We served our time.
Fucked up, Google.
It is. It's fucked up.
Could have at least given me some Google Glass, like invented those earlier so that I could have had Google Glass and looked at porn while I was on patrol.
We would have been so dead. Can you imagine? Because like in the movies and comic books, they have Google Glass technology. Could you really imagine patrolling and having access to Google Glass?
I would have died within a week.
Oh, yeah. It'd be like, hold on, I'm playing Angry Birds. It would have been horrible. Google Glass on patrol might be just a death warrant. You're like, all right. All right. Go to Kocosports.com, go to Con Artist and all their 27 sites, and we will be back shortly. With that, I am over. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum.